Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me for the fourth installment of our Variability for Adaptability series. So, this is our final episode. This episode is going to be a little challenging, a little warming. It's really going to tend to the bone health of your legs and a lot of isometric contraction of your muscles to your legs. So, we are going to need two blocks for this practice. We're going to do a little bit of standing strengthening, and then we'll take this into a really short flow, just like we've been doing, warming up our different planes of movement, and then bringing it into a reversible pattern, and then bringing it back to the top of the mat. So let's grab our two blocks, and let's take these two blocks to the floor on their low, flat setting. You're going to have one block in front of the other, and we're going to have about an inch space between our two blocks. And then let's go ahead and start with this left foot. You're going to take your left foot up to the blocks, and let's have the ball mounds of your foot to the front block, heel to the back. Find your peace fingers, take them to your hip points, and let's see if we can keep these hip points more or less level, right? So you might find that you're on your tippy toes here on this right side. And we're going to take a couple moments here to swing this leg forward and back. And I really want to see if you can start to find the swing forward and back. It's pretty windy up here. I don't know. I might get blown over. All right. Once you navigate the swing, tap your toes down when you need to tap them down. Another option here would be to find a little cross crawl pattern. So as that right leg goes forward, your left arm goes forward, and we start to find our cross crawl, which can be really balancing for the right and left hemispheres of the brain. All right, you're navigating your wibble wobble. You're tapping down when you need to tap down. If you want to make this a little more challenging, you can start to cross the midline. That's always harder for the brain. So tap it down when you need to tap it down. And then maybe we go back to this forward and back movement pattern, sagittal plane. And then maybe one more time we come into that coronal, right, where we're taking the limbs and sort of crossing the midline. All right, bring it forward and back again. And this time you're going to slow that dangling leg, but we're going to try really hard not to touch the toes down. Just feel the strength of your leg. It's a pretty strong contraction here. That's the isometric. And then go ahead and step off your block. Maybe shake it out. Take a nice big breath. 2 feet back to the earth. Balancing on one leg is challenging, so we can always watch the narrative that the mind is telling us, right? We get better with practice. All right, let's take that right foot up to the block. Remember, you have ball mounts to the front, heel to the back, and the arch of your foot is kind of spanning the space between the two blocks. Peace fingers, hip points. You're on your tippy toes here on this left side. And let's start to find some swing forward and back. Remember, you can tap those toes down whenever you need to tap them down. And then, of course, once you get your rhythm, you can start to swing these arms. And really, when we're looking for balance and stability, this is a really great exercise. This is really strengthening bone density. It's really strengthening the muscles in our legs. All right, maybe you're playing with crossing the midline, right? Introducing this coronal plane of motion, which is more challenging. And you're laughing. And then we're coming back to sagittal plane, right? None of us need to do it perfectly, but we're willing to play with it, right? Okay, let's go diagonal again. Let's go sagittal, forward and back again. And then we're going to pause. We're going to slow the dangling leg. We're going to navigate the wibble wobble. Can we do this without tapping our toes to the earth? Allow for that strength to come in on your standing right leg. And then let's step off the blocks. And you might notice that as you step off the blocks, your body naturally takes a nice big sigh. It's kind of a reset to your nervous system. So, okay, now we've got some awakeness, some vitality in your legs. Let's put one of these blocks towards the top of the mat. And let's take this single block, find its super skinny setting, and we're actually going to take it between the legs all the way up towards the lesser trochanter, which is the head of your femur bone on the inside of your thigh. And these muscles that run the inside of the leg here, these are your adductors, your adductors. They're part of that core sheath. And we're going to start to activate just a little more of this sort of pulling in towards the midline strength. So what I want you to do is find the head of your greater trochanter. And we're going to do that all together by taking the heel of your hand, taking it to the top of the iliac crest, placing your heel of your hand there, and then just lay your hand flat. See where the very tip of your middle finger lands. And then you can slide your palm there. And then I'll turn around. You can see me on the other side. Heel of your second hand, top of the pelvis. Lay your hand flat. See where the tip of that middle finger lands. And then slide the palm of the hand. All right. So now you are more or less palming the greater trochanter. Now what I want us to do is play with squeezing the block with the inner thighs. Those are your adductors. So let's squeeze the block. It's not super comfortable, but we'll check it out. And then you're going to release that squeeze and we're going to pull in from the trochanter, right? So you're going to feel a sense of pressure on your block, but it's a very different sensation than the squeezing of the inner thighs. This gives us a lot of stability. We're pulling and hugging towards our midline. All right, let's sweep these arms out wide and up, and we're going to play a little bit with our transverse range of motion, a little bit of twisting here. So you'll bring your arms forward so they're parallel to the floor. Let's leave the left arm, lower your right arm, and then find your twist. Can you keep the pelvis shining straight ahead? And then bring that right arm back to meet the left, both arms lift. And we'll do that again, second side. Bring these arms forward. We're going to leave the right arm, travel with the left. We go down, we go back. There's our twist. All right, bring it back. We'll do this one more time. You can bring the arms up alongside your ears. Bring the arms forward. Let's leave the left. Sweep that right arm down alongside your hip. Open out into your twist. Can you keep your hip point shining forward? And then right arm comes back to meet the left. Both arms lift. And one last time here. Finding that twist to the left. And then bringing that left arm back to meet the right. And from here, you can release your arms. And as I always like to say, release the Kraken. So let's get rid of this block. All right, you can set your block here at the top of the mat. And now we definitely have this sense of sort of lifting in towards our center. So let's play with this leg strength. We're going to step to the top of the mat. And from here, let's sweep these arms out wide and up again. And then just like we've been doing, you're going to bring these arms forward so they're parallel to the floor. All right, let's leave the arms here and you're going to sit back like you're sitting in a chair. And we're going to shift our weight into that right foot. You're going to lift your left heel. Come up to your tippy toes. And then let's see if we could lift that left foot up off the floor. That's a lot of contraction in your standing right leg. And we are slowly going to extend this leg backwards in space. Set the ball mounds of your left foot down. All right, arms reach up towards the sky. So here we are in that high crescent. We are going to find a twist to the right. So I want you to bring your arms forward. Leave the left, sweep that right arm down alongside your hip, and open out into that twist. All right, bring that right arm back to meet the left. Both arms lift. And we're going to do this again. Bring the arms forward, leave the left, travel with the right. All right, this time we're pausing here. And we're going to take this into a twisted lunge. So reaching these arms out and away from the heart space, let's lower this left hand. You've got a block there. You could grab your block, take your block underneath your left hand, right arm up to the sky. Take a breath or two here. And then we're going to reverse this movement pattern. So we're going to be pressing through this right foot. Can we navigate this backward movement? Bring that right arm forward to meet the left. Both arms lift. And then from here, we'll bring these arms parallel to the earth. And we're going to step into that right foot. So you're going to step forward, stay nice and low in your low chair, and then deliver the left foot. We'll come all the way back up to a standing position. Release the arms. I told you that was going to be spicy. Let's shake it out here. Take a nice sigh, nice deep breath. And we're going to set that up for the second side. So here we go. Let's play without needing to do it perfectly. Let's play with new and variable movement patterns. So here we go. Arms sweep out wide and up. Let's bring these arms forward so they're parallel to the floor. Sit back in that chair. All right, we're shifting weight into your left foot. So come up onto the right tippy toes. And then see if you can lift that right foot. And then start to stretch it back in space and set it down, moving nice and slow. All right, arms come all the way up alongside your ears. And then we're going to find our twist. So you're going to bring these arms forward. This time we're leaving the right. Left arm comes down and it opens us into our twist. And then left arm comes back to meet the right. Both arms lift. And we'll do that again. Bring the arms forward, leave the right, travel with the left. All right, from here, we're pausing. Arms stay reaching out and away from the heart space. And let's tilt the twist. There's a block there, so you might grab that block, take your right hand to the block, come into your twist, your twisted lunge. We'll find a breath or two here. And then we're getting ready to reverse the movement. So nice and slow, right? We are certainly navigating the reverse. And then left arm comes forward to meet the front. We're going to bring these arms up alongside your ears. And then from here, bring these arms parallel to the floor. Let's step into that left foot. Come into your chair with that knee lifted. And then release. 2 feet to the floor. Bring the arms up. Come back to stand. And we'll meet at the top of the mat. All right. That was quite a bit of leg strength. I could feel myself struggling with my breath there as well. So let's continue to repeat this cycle, right? Again, building the health of our bones, building the strength in our leg muscles, building the balance in the right and left hemispheres of the brain, and ultimately leaving us in a place where we've got greater adaptability, greater variability, and a much wider sense of resilience. So, salud. Here's to our health.